It's not just Detroit that has been knocked from its pedestal, but the American middle class was once the envy of the world. The standard of living and wealth that average Americans enjoyed was unmatched anywhere on the planet. You know, that's where the expression ugly American came from in the 1950s, because you would have middle-class Americans vacationing in Europe, and because the dollar was so strong, everything was so cheap to them, they appeared snobby to middle-class Europeans because they flaunted their wealth the way they did, because, you were like a king going over to Europe. Well, now it's kind of the other way around. It's Americans that are losing. And there's an article up on Zero Hedge. And again, there's always a lot of good stuff on that website. So I'm on there now. And for America, it's not we're number one that we should be chanting when it comes to median per capita wealth, right? And the median, as opposed to the mean or the average, the median is the number where half the people are above you and half the people are below you. So if you're talking about median net worth, it's your household net worth, right? Your assets minus your liabilities. What's your net worth? And then the median would be where exactly half the country has more wealth than you and half the country has less wealth than you. So you're right smack in the center. And when it comes to America, we're not number one, we're not number two, not number 5. We're not even number 10. We're not even number 20. In fact, we're not even number 25. Where are we? What can America chant when it comes to median household wealth? We're number 27. Yeah, 27. Let's hear it for us. You know who's number 1? Australia. That surprised me, actually. Australia, the median net worth is $193,000. $193,000. Number 2, Luxembourg. Number 3 is Japan. For all that we hear about Japan and what a disaster it is, their median household wealth is still $141,000. Even Italy, 123 is number 4. But here's all the countries that are well above us: Belgium, the Great Britain, Iceland. God, we're below Iceland. Singapore, Switzerland, well, to be expected. Austria. Canada, hey, Canada is way above us. France, the French are wealthier. Norway, Finland, New Zealand, the Netherlands, Ireland, Qatar, Spain, the United Arab Emirates, Taiwan, Germany, Sweden, Cyprus, and Kuwait. Cyprus? We're below Cyprus? That is really pathetic. The United States, our median net worth comes in at $38,786. $38,000. That means if you have a net worth in the United States of $38,000, half the people in the country are broker than you. Broker than you. $38,000 as a median net worth. A car is $38,000. If you own a car, you got a brand new one, hasn't depreciated. That's it. To me, that's nothing. In Australia is $193,000. How many times? The median in America is probably one of the poorest people in Australia. So these are the numbers. The myth of the mighty American middle class. And I'm hearing some stuff about President Obama now. Instead of talking about the bottom down, right? He's always criticizing the Republicans for trickle down. He's got a new concept, called the middle out. Right? He wants to grow the economy from the middle class out. What kind of nonsense is that? As if we can grow the economy. And the reason he says that we need to grow it from the middle out is because the rich invest too much of their money. They save too much of their money, and they're not spending enough. And so we need to grow the economy from the middle class because they spend. What are they going to spend their money on if we don't produce anything? If we're not saving and investing, there's nothing for the middle class to buy. Again, this is the economic cart before the horse. We don't have a strong middle class. We don't have a strong economy because we have a strong middle class. We have a strong middle class because we have a strong economy, right? The cart cannot pull the horse, but that is what President Obama wants to do. The reason the middle class is shrinking is because you destroyed the incentives for people to create wealth and to employ people. It was because of the policies that were targeted at the so-called rich, right? That's why the middle class is disappearing. Like I said, or like with Detroit, again, you're killing the goose that lays the golden eggs, and you're wondering what happens to the golden eggs. You want to rebuild an economy based on those golden eggs. Well, you're not going to get the golden eggs without the goose. That's what you need. And unfortunately, that's what we don't have anymore because of the type of tax system that we have and the regulatory system that we have. We've destroyed the capital base. We've destroyed the wealth creation, and so it's natural that the wealth has disappeared, and you can see that in the median household income. Now, these numbers are going to get even more skewed against the U.S. when the dollar falls, because these are all U.S. dollar numbers. And as the dollar resumes its decline, then the U.S. is going to fall lower and lower down on that list. So 27, I mean, we're going down from there. I don't know how much lower we could fall. I mean, looking at all the countries that are already above us, but it's probably a long way down. And so, this might be the high watermark for a while. Maybe, 27 ain't so bad. Compared to where we're going to be as we continue these policies. And if it wasn't for all the money that we were able to borrow, now of course a lot of this debt is weighing down us, but I don't even think these numbers include. In fact, I'm sure they don't include each individual's share of the government debt, right? Because remember, when governments have money, when governments have debt, it can only be paid by the taxpayers. And and you talk about the debt that's there. You've got the federal debt. Then you've got the state debts, you've got the city debts, you've got all these debts that are the responsibility of taxpayers. And obviously, if you took the U.S. debt, everybody's share would totally wipe out that net worth of $38,000. So the average American has a negative net worth. The average American is completely bankrupt. That is the real story.